Across the universe, on over 1 million solar systems, on over 1 billion worlds, there is a legend. When the end is near, when chaos reigns, when all hope is lost, the Doctor will save us. He is a man shrouded in mystery. His origins are unknown. He is always and forever, and yet it was foretold that after 900 years of walking in eternity, after assuming 10 different identities, that there would be an 11th. But even then his name would still remain unknown, hence the first question. The question that must never be answered. The question that is hidden in plain sight. Doctor Who? Greetings fanboys and fangirls, I'm Erod and I'm the Blockbuster Buster. First and foremost, I would like to thank all of you for making one of my all-time favorite videos that I've ever made, The 11 Doctors, one of my most successful videos of all time. To the degree that I was more than happy to put this sequel video into production. Now before I start talking about the 11th incarnation of my favorite spacefaring Time Lord, I would like to set a few things straight. Number 1. As I've stated before, this video is a sequel of my 11 Doctors video. So if you're watching this because you are semi-curious about Doctor Who and you want to learn more about the show, I highly suggest that you watch that video first before you finish this one. And number 2, like my 11 Doctors video, this is not going to be a traditional honest review, as there are plenty of people on this website who review Doctor Who. So for reviews of individual episodes or seasons, I highly suggest that you seek out their videos. This is simply intended to be a continuation of my retrospect as a Doctor Who fan, and my personal experience during the 11th Doctor's era. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's start talking about the man that ushered Doctor Who from an obscure sci-fi series to a global phenomenon. The 11th Doctor, Matt Smith. He is the beloved bow-tie brandishing man-boy who loves hats, jammy dodgers, and is thoroughly convinced that bow ties are cool.
Bow ties are cool. Bow ties are cool. Bow ties are cool. Bow ties are cool. No, it's not. It's cool. Yeah, it is, isn't it? It is very cool.
My journey with the 11th Doctor actually began way before he stepped into the TARDIS, way back in 2009, when it was announced that David Tennant was leaving the show. As most of you already know, David Tennant is my favorite Doctor, and the sole reason I even started watching the modern Doctor Who series on a regular basis. In spite of all that, I accepted David Tennant's departure, as I was very satisfied with his tenure as the Doctor. And then the announcement came that the 11th Doctor was 27-year-old Matt Smith.
Sarah Jane Smith. I'm Mickey Smith. You need a Smith on board.
This relatively unknown actor and former soccer player.
Football, you uneducated yank.
Sorry. What I was trying to say is that Matt was officially the youngest actor to ever play the Doctor. Of course, everyone lost their freaking minds. Instantly, people started judging Matt Smith before they ever saw a millisecond of footage of him playing the Doctor, and the criticism solely focused on his age. From the very beginning, I felt that this reaction was a bunch of preposterous horse shit. The Doctor is undefinable. He's not like Batman or Spider-Man or James Bond who have defined characteristics. Every single actor who has ever played the Doctor played the character their own way. And age was never a factor. This makes it even more satisfying that after so much unwarranted criticism, Matt Smith's era is the most successful Doctor Who era thus far. Ironically, Peter Capaldi recently received the same kind of asinine criticism when he was announced as the Doctor. But in reverse, people were saying that he was too old to play the Doctor. You morons! The Doctor is over 1,000 years old. If anything, Peter Capaldi is too young.
Pudding brains.
But enough about the idiocy of posers. As much as I would love to say that I was there supporting Matt Smith's era as the Doctor from the beginning, I can't. as his era began in 2010, which was a very difficult year for me financially, as I was unemployed and had no disposable income for the entire year, so I couldn't afford cable or any other means by which to watch Doctor Who. I was lucky enough to have a friend who let me borrow a recording he had made of Matt Smith's first episode, The 11th Hour, which I enjoyed thoroughly, but it wasn't until 2011 that I got to see the rest of the season. That's right, I didn't get to see the 11th Doctor's adventures regularly until 2011. Now that is fitting. So let's begin exploring the 11th Doctor's era with
Season 5, The Pandorica opens.
And thus it came to pass that the 10th Doctor's era came to an end. No longer able to hold back his regeneration, the 11th Doctor makes his first appearance, with the most epic entrance in the history of the series. Born of fire and smoke and sparks, a new Doctor had arrived to captivate and enthrall a whole new generation of Whovians.
Legs! I've still got legs! Good! Arms! Hands! Fingers! Lots of fingers! Ears! Yes, eyes too! Nose! I've had worse! Chin! Blimey! Hair! I'm a girl! No! No! I'm not a girl! No, I'm still not Ginger.
This marked the biggest overhaul the show had gone through since the 3rd Doctor's era. Almost everything was new. A new Doctor, a new showrunner, new companion, new TARDIS, new sonic screwdriver, and the greatest piece of new music to be associated with the program since Ron Grainer composed the theme song, I Am the Doctor by Murray Gold.
Big mistake, really huge. Didn't anyone ever tell you there's one thing you never put in a trap if you're smart, if you value your continued existence, if you have any plans about seeing tomorrow, there's one thing you never ever put in a trap.
And what would that be, sir?
Me.
This was a great jumping on point for new viewers, so I wasn't surprised by the increase in the show's popularity. Plus, Matt was simply brilliant in his first episode, capturing the essence of the Doctor, prepared for the impossible but captivated by the mundane, and somehow he still managed to add his own flair to the role of charming immaturity, being both dorky and confident at the same time.
And the final score is no TARDIS, no screwdriver, 2 minutes to spare. Who the man? Oh, I'm never saying that again. Fine.
The 11th Hour is one of my all-time favorite introductory episodes for a new Doctor. Not only does it adequately introduce the 11th Doctor, but the eclectic pacing set the tone perfectly for this era, which took off running and didn't stop until the very end, faithfully establishing the new while paying tribute to the classic. My favorite subtle tribute was when the Doctor assembles his official costume from clothing that he steals from a hospital. This is not the first time the Doctor has done this. Both the 3rd and 8th Doctor got their clothes from a hospital. So the Doctor saves the day in a matter of minutes, gets new clothes, recruits Amy Pond as his new companion, and off he goes to have more adventures. For the 11th Doctor's first arc, we are introduced to the first part of a 3-part prophecy, which says that the Pandorica will open. This puzzles the Doctor, as the Pandorica is just a fairy tale. What he does know for sure is this, that on June 26, 2010, the TARDIS will explode, causing cracks throughout all of time and space, which will eventually unmake all of reality. So the Doctor must figure out how to seal all the dimensional tears, stop the TARDIS from exploding, and what the hell is inside the Pandorica. This was an excellent introductory season for the 11th Doctor, both showcasing Matt Smith's talent, as well as showrunner Stephen Moffat's new direction for the series.
Listen, you lot, you're all whizzing about. It's really very distracting. Could you all just stay still a minute, because I am talking!
Now, the question of the hour is, who's got Pandorica? Answer, I do. Next question, who's coming to take it from me? Come on! Look at me! No plan, no backup, no weapons worth a damn. Oh, and something else, I don't have anything to lose. So, if you're sitting up there in your silly little spaceship with all your silly little guns, and you've got any plans on taking the Pandorica tonight, just remember who's standing in your way. Remember every black day I ever stopped you, and then Do the smart thing. Let somebody else try first.
For most of my life, I have always boasted how I never found the monsters in Doctor Who scary. Well, I think Moffat heard me, as he has made it a part of his mission in life to put genuine frights in Doctor Who. A major one being my favorite Doctor Who monsters, the Weeping Angels. God, those things are creepy. And my favorite horror moment this season was when a dismembered Cyberman tries to assimilate Amy. Holy shit! Now this is a moment that definitely justifies watching the show from behind the couch. Ultimately, this was the perfect start to a great era in Who history. And after binge watching this season over a weekend on Netflix, I couldn't wait for the Doctor's next adventure. Between seasons 5 and 6, we got Matt Smith's first Christmas special, A Christmas Carol, which is my favorite Doctor Who Christmas special. But wait a minute, what about Christmas Invasion? Well, Christmas Invasion is my favorite 10th Doctor episode. As far as Christmas specials go, Christmas Carol is king. Here we find the Doctor trying to save a ship caught in a dense storm cloud that is controlled by the rich and uncaring Kazaran Sardik, played by the great Michael Gambon. The Doctor does his best to convince Sardik to save the ship caught in the cloud by subjecting him to the classic Charles Dickens tale, with the Doctor and his friends taking the roles of the three ghosts, and by using the TARDIS to show Sardik his past, present, and future.
Oh, look at you, looking all tough now.
There are 4,003 people I won't allow to die tonight. Do you know where that puts you?
Where?
4,004.
Was that a sort of threaty thing?
Whatever happens tonight, remember, you brought it on yourself.
This is a very touching and endearing episode. Oh my god! Okay, Muffet, Doctor Who is scary. You win! Ugh! Jesus! Flying sharks? What kind of a sick freak comes up with that? Oh my... Oh, I'm sorry. I'm afraid of sharks. Anyway, Doctor Who Christmas Carol is great. Give it a watch if you get the chance. I highly recommend it. Also, before season 6 got underway, Doctor Who had a crossover with the Sarah Jane Adventures, called The Death of the Doctor. The episode is okay, just okay. The biggest highlight is the return of Katie Manning as the third Doctor's companion, Jo Grant. Her interactions with Sarah Jane are hilarious, making this the only multi-companion crossover special. And you get to see the Doctor give Jo the proper farewell he didn't give her in The Green Death, when he just walked out when she announced her engagement. Now let's move on to the Doctor's next big story arc.
Don't worry, I've got everything about the way I found it. Except this. There's always a bit left over, isn't there?
Season 6, Silence Will Fall.
By this point in time, Doctor Who's newfound popularity was in full effect. The merchandise was everywhere. Terms like Dalek, Sonic Screwdriver, and TARDIS became household words. The Doctor was on the cover of American magazines, and I actually saw children dressed like the Doctor for Halloween, complete with a bow tie and fez. Yes, the fez. The fez the Doctor wore for just under 4 minutes in one episode. How exactly that caught on is beyond my understanding.
Someday, you could just walk past a Fez.
Never gonna happen.
For the 11th Doctor's second season, we found out the second part of the prophecy. Silence will fall. What exactly does that mean? We'll find out later. What we do know is that sometime in the future the Doctor will cause a catastrophe that will convince a fanatical religious sect called the Silence to travel back in time and assassinate the Doctor before he causes said catastrophe. The Silence is led by the devious and cunning Madame Kavarian, who seems to have almost unlimited resources under her command, including the new popular monster for the series, the Silence. Really well dressed but inherently creepy aliens who you can only remember when you are looking straight at them. But when you look away...
Who's that?
Who's who?
Sorry, what?
So how exactly can the Doctor prevent this future catastrophe is left to be seen. What we do know is that on April 22nd, 2011, the Silence successfully assassinates the Doctor. This particular date falls upon a fixed point in time, so the Doctor can't change it by using time travel. On April 22nd, he will be shot in front of Lake Silencio, with his friends watching. So the Doctor does the most human thing he has ever done. He runs. He runs and tries to prolong his life for as long as possible. This doesn't mean the Silence doesn't throw every possible curveball at him and his companions. My favorite of which is the revelation that the assassin that they brainwashed and conditioned to kill the Doctor is none other than the lethal lady herself, River Song, one of the Doctor's own allies.
I tidied up a bit.
I know you did. Watch out that bow tie.
I know you know.
Goodness, is killing you going to take all day?
Why? You busy?
Oh, I'm not complaining.
Of course, River's true identity and her origins are far more complicated than that, but once again, I dare not give it away. You have to experience that for yourself. Eventually, the Doctor realizes that he can't run forever, and finally decides to man up and face his death, after one of the most hard-hitting moments in the entire series, which is when he calls his dear friend the Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart.
Hello.
Doctor, I'm so sorry. We didn't know how to contact you. I'm afraid Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart passed away a few months ago. Doctor?
Yes.
He was very peaceful. Talked a lot about you, if that's any comfort. Always made us pour an extra brandy, in case you came round one of these days.
This was a moment that punched me in the stomach. Growing up, the Brigadier was the Doctor's greatest ally, so to find out that he died in such a realistic way was very hard-hitting for me, and apparently for the Doctor as well, as this is the moment when he decides to face his ultimate fate. Now, we all know deep down the Doctor will survive this, and cheat death yet again. But the question is, how? How will he survive his own assassination, save his friends, redeem River, and defeat the Silence? Well, it's a good thing that he is the one hero who specializes in the impossible.
And they can never, ever be.
Surprise! Hello, everyone. Guess who? Please, point a gun at me if it helps you relax. We're only human.
Overall, Season 6 was one awesome sequel to Season 5, elevating the 11th Doctor's era to the next level, and building on all the concepts and storylines that were established in Season 5. After seeing this, I honestly believe that this was as good as Doctor Who got, that there was no way they could ever top this season. Little did I know, the best was yet to come.
It's all still waiting for you. The Fields of Trenzalore, the Fall of the 11th, and the Question.
Goodbye, Dorian.
The first question, the question that must never be answered, hidden in plain sight, the question you've been running from all your life. Doctor Who? Doctor Who? Doctor Who?